Hey gang, Dr. Derry here today, owner of Revision Health Services, and I want to talk about bending over. So a lot of people have been through back pain or have had back pain for a long time or have had surgery. You can tell that they bend over weird for some of those folks. And why did they do this? Is that good for them? Is that what they should be doing? That's some of the questions I want to answer today. So hang with me if you want to know those answers. All right, guys. So, hey, as a physical therapist, I'm often observing people's movement patterns, and so I'm looking at people how they do things in their daily life. And one of the things I look at is how they bend forward. So, how's the quality of motion? How's the flexion of the cervical spine, the upper back, the lumbar spine, or lower back? How does that all look? How do their hips look? Well, I can tell people who are a little bit fearful about bending over is when they go to bend over, they bend at their knees, they bend at the hips, and they don't move their back at all. It stays super straight. I think we have been conditioned to think that's good because of posters like you see at work. And so like workplace injuries. So bend with your knees, not your back. Like that's a common saying that I even heard growing up. And it kind of makes us think bend with your knees because your knees are stronger than your back, and to protect your back so you can do it again and have a reduction of injury. But when we dive into some of that literature, there's really not a lot to back it up. And there's really nothing saying that you're going to have less of an injury in your back if you bend your knees more. Or if you don't bend your back at all, that's inherently going to protect it. And you're not going to have any injury in your back because you're using your hips and your knees. And I've even heard people say, no, I want to wear my knees out first because I can get a knee replacement a lot easier than I can get back surgery. It's like some of the weird stuff out there. And I think we've been conditioned to think that way. But there's been some good research, especially with some by Peter O'Sullivan, just saying like, hey, like if we bend over, yes, there are some pressure increases in our joints in our back. Like we know this, we can see that, we can feel that. When we bend forward all the way or bend backward all the way, we can feel pressure or stretches or sensations in your lower back. With that said, if you go to pick up a pencil from the ground, I don't really care how you pick it up. Like you could pick it up with the weirdest form in the world, and it's not going to change or go out of the realm of normal pressures in your back. So let that sink in for a moment. So if you've had chronic low back pain and you're fearful of bending forward and generating strength because you're fearful of having an increase of pain or an exacerbation or another episode, and you bend and you go to pick up something off the ground and you think, I'm going to keep my back as straight as a board, bend at the knees and hips, and that's going to do you good, I would really evaluate that situation. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to have some stiffness or soreness, or maybe you've had some discomfort or injury in the past from doing that. I would say work at it, and it can come back, especially if you just want to do everyday things, right? And so picking up and taking out the garbage or picking up something that falls to the floor or anything like that, you should be able to easily bend over, fully flex your spine, enjoy that normal movement pattern of your back without any worry whatsoever. Now, if you said, hey, Michael, I'm going to go learn how to do complete and compete in Olympic lifting and pick up super heavy stuff from the ground, does my form matter then? Yes. Like, I mean, we can't not say that, right? But I think there's a happy medium that people can live their lives to do what they want to do and relearn those normal movement patterns without fear, apprehension, or doing any more damage to their back. So I think it comes full circle to say we need to watch what we're saying and thinking, because those fears and those beliefs and those thoughts can directly impact on how you move. And if you're not working your stuff in your body has a use it or lose it policy. So if you're having abnormal movement patterns, or if you're not using certain musculature, your body will say, I don't need that musculature anymore. So it fills it with fat, the motor control or the motor recruitment changes. And so you can't have that. You don't want that, because I've seen people what they look like down the road when they keep doing that. So I encourage you to rethink about how you're bending over. And then if you want to lift up something heavy like a crate or a few gallons of milk or heavy grocery bags, have a little more confidence in yourself than you normally would have. Like just see how it feels. Now, I am also saying you can't go 0 to 100, right? And so you need to think about what you're doing. And if that's a big goal of yours, which I think relearning movement patterns should be a goal, then you need to work up to it as well. So if you're like, hey, Michael, I am sedentary in my normal daily life. I work at the computer all day, every day. As soon as I got done sitting for 8 hours, I went and picked up my child and I had a bent over back and I lifted him up, threw him in the air, and then my back hurt. I'm like, well, there's a lot of things there going on, right? And so if you inherently had that strength and you had worked on your mobility and strength beforehand and you did that, I would suspect that you didn't have a problem. And I would say it's not after one day of not doing anything or having that normal pattern. I'd say it's after many days. And so you need to take the full picture of mind instead of just narrowing down. If you do have an injury or feel something when you bend over, it's because you bent over. Let's think about what you did before that, what your life looked like before that, and what led to that moment. And really think about what you're going to do after. Change your mindset, have some confidence in your back. It's a super, super strong structure. Lots and lots of strong musculature around there. It is made to absorb force and it's made to let you move in weird, cool movements and directions. It's an amazing structure. So have some confidence. If someone has told you never to bend over again, I would encourage you to rethink that statement and just think to yourself how much power that statement has in someone telling you that in 5 seconds and how much of an impact that had in your life as you moved forward. It's a little unfair and it's a little bit dramatic, right? And so got to take care of yourself. You've got to get strong. You've got to work your body. But I'm also saying that if you see that pencil on the ground, I don't care how you pick it up. You can bend over backwards, pick it up, right? And so it's going to be fine. We see gymnasts do weird stuff with their back all day, every day. And I have treated some gymnasts with back pain, right? But you combine that mobility, range of motion with strength, you get an amazing outcome. So to recap, bend over, it really doesn't matter, right? I think if you're strong enough and you may have some age-related changes, okay, whatever, your range of motion may change, but really you can get the range of motion from other joints as well. So bend over how you want to bend over. If you're going to pick up heavier things or demand more of your body, then you've got to earn that a little bit, right? So work on your strength, range of motion, flexibility. There's some good resources on my website, revisionhealthservices.com. You can download and work on all of that stuff. If you're really interested, you can look at some of my course material that really focuses on all of it and really dials in and narrows down there for you. Otherwise, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please reach out. I love to hear from everybody and what they're going through, or maybe, some ideas on the next video. That'd be awesome. I'd like to put out some relevant content. And if you have anything else that you want to talk about, that's great too. So until then, stay healthy, keep moving, and take care of yourself.